Hello and welcome to Raidercast, the podcast and video series that delves into all things Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. And today we are in the blessed union that is Alfredo Cast.
Yay!
Meets Raidercast.
Fine.
For the fourth time. Well, for the manyth guest starring time, but in this episode it's going to be a celebration of all things Tomb Raider 4: The Last Revelation. In honor of its 25th anniversary. You, I say, recently played through it. This year you played through it.
It's been a busy year.
We started in May, we finished at the end of September. And today we're going to be talking through your experiences, how you felt about the game. And we have a hell of a lot of questions.
Yes, I have gone through all of them and I liked them all because thank you so much for taking the time and asking the question. I'm not sure we have time to answer all of them, but we really appreciate you taking the time. So
we'll go through as many as we can. A lot of them are duplicates, so we'll just ask them once. You ready to get going?
Let's go.
All right, I'm not going to put it in any specific order. That's a lie.
Let's just do it.
I'm going to go from the bottom up.
Okay.
From the bottom to the top.
All right, so if you were quick in asking, you have better chances.
Yes. So this comes from Anas Zidane. His question is, when will you start playing the next game, Chronicles? And will it be the remastered version or the original?
It's going to be the remaster version, and it's going to be at some point next year. I'm thinking, depends how long is it?
We'll
is it
probably
going to be
start in summer.
Is it going to be as long as Last Revelation?
No. It's closer in size to Tomb Raider 1.
Okay, so yes, probably we'll start in summer with, again, late September, early October kickoff. And if you can hear that, is Clue that has decided to wake up and do tippy taps.
He will be included in this video at some point. Stick around. Next up, this comes from Suburban Time Waster, who asks, what was the hardest part of this game?
Oh, I think the hardest part of this game was to work out some of the dynamics, and if I didn't have Clue and Stella, sorry, I just look at it, they didn't have Chris and Stella, but also Clue for the moral support, it would have been difficult to work out, I would still be fighting Seth, probably.
I would say that the level you actually had most trouble with was Trenches. It was the one with the murder ball.
Yes, I was actually thinking about the murder ball because if I didn't know, I would have been fighting and it wouldn't have worked out exactly what I need to do. So I think that
was a nasty timed.
If I were to remake the game, not just remaster, I would put some clever quips like, I better find a way out fast rather than, a bit trap in this room with a murder bull. But obviously, it's not something that it was done at the time.
There was another part of the game that I remember you had a bit of a challenge with, and that was the ropes of the catacombs.
Yes, but...
Are we going to get to that?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we'll get to that later. Now, this makes me think of the last, at least Tomb Raider 3 specifically, you weren't too pleased with the storytelling in that game. But the next question comes from 𝗯cie/, who asks, how would you rank the storytelling in this game versus the previous 3?
Probably the top. It
was the first time they properly went for a story.
It was very strong story. I feel that there is a lot of story also in 2, and you can follow a story in 1. It's okay to have a thin story, but you can follow. My problem with 3 is that it could have easily. Like, you don't really need to flesh it out that much to make it make sense.
Now, on to 𝗯𝗀𝗀𝗍𝗀, who asks, how do you feel about the interconnected levels? Did you feel that they were too complicated, or did you find it engaging?
They were complicated, and that's why it was engaging. I think that it was brilliant. And again, it shows how every single year, because it's been one after the other, the first 4, like the amount of talent and in the video game, the amount of creativity has literally jumped. And it is fantastic to have something quite like that is all interconnected. I think it was brilliant.
I really think that that's something that games even today, and even, well, the Tomb Raider games as well, still emulate. But I don't think they're necessarily trying to emulate Tomb Raider 4. I just think that TR4 was the start, the proper start of that kind of gameplay within the series, of these gigantic levels spread over like different environments that she has to go between to get to different places and then come back.
Yeah, it's the fact that items and other things are linked between the levels. I think it's absolutely brilliant and really show that this is a well-thought, complex game.
This next question comes from 𝗯𝗀𝗳𝗿𝗱, who asks, how much do you hate the Guardian of 𝗯𝗀𝗳𝗍𝗀, the bull in the square area?
Yeah, that I was struggling to work out what to do. Hated a bit, mostly because, again, it was one of those things that it wasn't exactly clear what I needed to do. And in my fantasy remake, I'll be like, maybe if once you struggle a few times, you just like Lara say, oh, maybe I can get him to smash a way out or something like that. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
And this thing, I couldn't see that. I just thought, oh, look at me, I can shoot and I can jump. I was like, why is this not dying? Etc. I feel that they were... It's, in a way, it's a bit annoying that you will put the like immortal enemies.
I'm trying to think now if there were properly immortal enemies in the previous games.
They were not. I don't
think there were.
And so that it's like, and without, again, you can have something that you can put in the story is like with Seth free on the world, some of his minions cannot be killed by any weapons.
Yeah, just a little bit of explanation.
So you need to use their strength against them.
Exactly, yeah.
But then we should have the Buffy solution, and I should be allowed to shoot them in the face with a shotgun and see how they deal with that.
We have a question about fear. Sage Wisdom asks, thoughts on the scariest level? I know there's nothing in this game like RX Tech Mines or Atlantis, but there are some eerie moments, like the Guardian of 𝗯𝗀𝗍𝗀𝗀.
Scariest as scare jumps. I think you all see it. I don't think it was cut, but it's in one of the pyramids. Yeah, I was coming in and I did not expect that. Now. Oh fuck! That scared the shit out of me. That dude just popping out and literally made me jump. But in terms of fear personal, I think it was the ropes because I mostly over, but not exactly over fear heights. So I do a lot of I do climbing, I done canyoning, but there are moments in which I consider the falling and bothers me, and also happens in video games, and that is probably why I struggle so much with the jumping. Because it's always like... Oh.
It's not just your fault, though.
What?
It's...
Oh, no, the ropes.
No, the ropes...
No, I meant any kind of jumping. This is why I walk to the edge, etc. It's psychological there.
What you're meant to do.
Yes, but yes, the ropes were difficult.
Yeah. Matthew Dykes asks, what would you say is the weirdest level of the entire franchise?
The weirdest level so far... okay, This is difficult. I'm trying to go through all of them. And I'm actually going to say I cannot remember the name. Tomb Raider 1. Atlantis?
With the flesh walls.
Yeah, the flesh walls.
Fair.
I think that is the weirdest.
See,
you need to be a psycho to picture that. I was like, oh, this will make a great level.
Pyramid.
Yeah.
I think for me, yes, Atlantis is top 3, along with Floating Islands.
You see, I was thinking Floating Islands, but that one, you see, I was interpreting weird as something like you really need to be messed up to consider that. Floating Islands, I think it's beautiful. I think it's a very ingenious way to create a level, but I was also thinking Floating Islands.
There is one at the end of the expansion pack of Tomb Raider 3 that you haven't played called, I want to say it's called Happy Reunion. The concept is just insane. It's like some twisted, semi-formed dreamscape with like floating corpses and like leaking radiation, and it's really trippy.
I should check out the remastered.
It's called that.
Okay.
I know you've played bits of them, but you haven't played the DLCs.
I played I played also bits of the DLC because I played the Scotland one.
Scotland one is so good.
When you were struggling.
Yeah. Anyway,
With
regards to that, Owen Jolly asks, how many husband points do you think Chris earned? And I know the answer. The answer is not enough.
You see, there are ways to earn husband points, and I feel, if I need to be sincere, that probably I was a little bit conservative with the points, but also I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the negative.
I'm almost positive that it's in the negative.
Well, maybe for Chronicles you can do better. Let's this be a lesson.
What is the lowest threshold for points? So far it's been, I get 2 points for saving you without you asking. Some points for bringing you tea.
And every kind of helpful advice.
I give you so much helpful advice.
Stella gives me very helpful advice. Usually I have to ask you. Thank you for nothing, husband.
I literally read trapdoor just as you said, oh. So, you're welcome.
No, you don't get...
5 husband points.
No,
yes.
Minus 5 husband points. Read faster. I've done it.
Von Croy Y2P asks, in a similar vein, Alfredo, how much do you think you would enjoy the classic Tomb Raider series without the help of your lovely husband, quote, Chris? How big...
just
hamming up. How big a role have I played in your evolution to become the Tomb Raider, and what advice would you give those who are picking up the classic games for the first time?
Oh, okay. Very good questions. I think Chris has been fundamental for my love of the series. I not feel like he has, in a way, forced me to do this.
Oh, slow down, because we've got another question about that.
Okay.
Advice for new players.
Advice for new players, then. I think is explore. I think that... I also thank you for calling me the Tomb Raider. I like to be, usually hubristic and calling me that after I do one successful jump. But there's still so much to learn. And I feel that looking at people doing the stuff, if you enjoy watching stuff or reading the guide, having it handy, but you start by exploring, you start by trying to work it out for yourself. I love solving the puzzle.
Yeah, there were a few times when you shouted at me for trying to help you before you'd had a chance to.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Which is fair.
Remco Liam asks, is Chris pressuring you to play the games, or do you play them willingly out of love?
Perfect.
And which have you enjoyed the most so far?
Perfect segue. So, this is Liam. Thank you for this question. I maybe on the next Chronicle video you can just ask Blink Alfredo if you want to be freed. No, at no point Chris forced me to do this. I did it out of love because it was just like, oh, it would be really fun. And I thought, you know what? It would be really fun because if I'm good at this, it's going to be really fun telling him like, were you this good when you started? And I know the answer is no because he was a child and I'm not. Fair.
Okay.
And if I was really, really bad, it would be funny just to see me how bad I was. Like, I can laugh at myself. Secret passage, amazing.
In a library. Fantastic.
Everything that I wanted and more. But I love it, and it is mostly because of you guys. It's been so wonderful to just reading your comments and like just see how much enjoyment this brings to people. And it's I love playing the games. Sometimes it's hard work. Sometimes it's very much hard work without any support, and this is why it doesn't get any husband points. But it's always good. And I don't think I tried to rage quit this year at all. I think there were moments that we were getting close with trenches. And probably the ropes. But I think the ropes I was more getting angry at the fact that I know how to do this.
Yeah, you were very determined to.
Yeah, it was not, no.
There was another, excuse me, there was another bit closer to the end of the game where you were under a pyramid and there was spike pits with like rows of ropes and you had to go over one to do a switch and then come back.
Yeah.
And then go up another one.
Yeah.
And then come back.
That's super atmospheric. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry I cannot take in the atmosphere. As I'm dangling over a pit of blades and poison.
You're like dying, and I'm like, look at the lighting, but it's so pretty.
Whew, I cut a lot out of that episode.
Yeah, there was... but you see, again, no rage quitting.
No rage quitting.
So, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Puppy Peers, who has asked a couple of questions that you already just answered. But in addition, when it comes to playing Chronicles and the Angel of Darkness, you've already said about Chronicles being the remaster. Will you be also playing the remaster of the Angel of Darkness?
Yes, it will be those two. Yes.
Fantastic.
And so it means that on February I will be disappearing and not look at the TV.
Right, we have a few questions from Luke Apollo, who asks, we'll lightning round this because he's got a few. If you could visit any level location from the game in real life, which one would it be?
Oh, like all of Egypt. I've been, but only to the touristy side. I've not done the ancient Egypt side, so all of it. But if I were to want to, let's imagine that this is all true, like get me under the Sphinx. Come on.
If you were to make a Tomb Raider 4 inspired cocktail, what ingredients would you use and what would you name it?
Ooh, okay, that is very good. I think the name should be The Last Revelation.
Oh, lovely.
In terms of cocktail, all right, I think it's gonna be rum base. Maybe rum and orange. I would want to give it a sort of desert coloring.
Yeah.
Rum and orange, maybe with a grenadine on top to do blood and something very set-like. You could do a rim of the glass with sugar and orange zest. We need to put something else because otherwise I just made a screwdriver with... no, not even a screwdriver. But yeah, something like that. Maybe using some... maybe not the rum, sorry. Let me... A vodka control and orange, so very strongly orange. big ice cubes, maybe, nice glass, you can have a pyramid-shaped ice cube.
Nice.
And then you do the rim. So something simple, nothing, and grenadine on top. And you need to pour it carefully because otherwise the grenadine will sink. So I think something like that.
I think I would go for more something like an old-fashioned, again for the colour, but for the pun because it's delving into like the ancient.
The old-fashioned doesn't mean ancient.
Well, in this regard it would. Anyway, next one. Do you wish there were more outfits in Tomb Raider 4 or did that not bother you?
That did not particularly bother me. I know that all of you get excited about the costume change. I don't know, I've never been okay, this is it. I feel that if there was a possibility of customizing, maybe, but not so far gone.
Final one from Luke. If you were to choose characters to cosplay as from Tomb Raider 4, who would you cosplay as, and who would you choose for me and for Clue?
Good question. So,
I think I know exactly who I would put Clue as. It might not be the same as you. I would put him as Amit, the demon from the Temple of Horus. By the scales.
oh yes, absolutely. Is a little
Little demon.
little demon dog. If you can hear all the tippy taps, because he has decided tonight that he's not doing his post dinner nap, so he needs to go around looking if somebody has dropped some cheese in the house. And for you, I think, you can play Von Croy.
Okay. And you would be Lara?
Yes.
Anastasia asks, what are your thoughts about the iconic train level?
Really good fun. I think that is, iconic is the right answer. I think it was such a clever approach. You are moving to different areas. You don't do a cutscene, but you do a moving puzzle level. Brilliant. 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
no notes.
I always love a good train level. The next question is from Nikokna, who asks, did you enjoy using those mechanical wind-up scarabs? Now that was an interesting puzzle mechanic. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You had to put them on the floor and it would set off the traps, but you had limited use of them.
It was, you see, I continue to think that this is such an evolution in terms of everything. They really thought about crafting an extremely creative game. And I think that was brilliant. I think absolutely brilliant.
Frey Fox asks, how would you rate the new inventory system compared to the classic one?
I fucking hated it.
Fair.
And you see, it's like, this is such an inventive game. Do a better inventory. I am not sure why they did it like this, but it got very complicated, especially since you add all of the pieces of the armor and oh my god, and like
they
so
should
many
definitely
things.
just have been like in previous games. I think they should have had like key items should have been in a separate one. The one thing I did like about this is not necessarily a menu function as it is a new feature. The combine.
The combined thing was brilliant, but inventory, boo.
Lola Croft says that I think that playing Tomb Raider should be a fully immersive experience to be played in solitary so that it can be fully absorbed. Obviously, you played with Chris as a companion and spectator, but nonetheless, could you actually feel, even for brief moments, those beautiful feelings of threat, anxiety, horror, loneliness, darkness, greatness, and mystery that this game so well conveys? In short, and at this point, you played 4 out of the 6 classics, have you been able to understand why we have been obsessed with this shit for like 20 years of our lives? Much love. From a fellow Roman.
Lola, you have the heart of a poet. Those are beautiful words, and I do agree. I feel that it's not to age you, but I feel that it's a very elder millennial kind of things that we have come to play games before online gaming. So for us is us versus the computer. We are fighting the computer more than we connect with so many people and fight those. And I know I'm stereotyping. I feel that even with the presence of Chris and his support, I got, it's clear to me why you are all so obsessed with it. It's from a technical standpoint, which I feel that is getting the takeaway of the questions, just how literally revolutionary were this game for the landscape of all gaming. And I feel that every single gamer, even those that have not played Tomb Raider, should be extremely, extremely grateful for all of Lara Croft. It's just so, playing it now, it becomes so obvious to me, everyone else was catching up. Everyone else was catching up with Tomb Raider when this was happening. Now it's super clear. And I do feel the threat, the challenge, the scope. This is also why I asked Chris to let me try and fail first. Or try and succeed, because I did that water maze all by myself. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to know?" No.
Well, we can go back and revisit that, but I was a help. I was definitely a help. Anyway.
-5 has been punished for lying.
You can't. Next question. Abiz now says, "Love this series so much. How aware of the behind-the-scenes drama were you with regards to this game? For example, did you know that the developers intended this to be the end?"
Oh, that was quite clear, and that this was supposed to be the end. I know a little bit. Yes, it becomes quite clear.
It was effectively, they had been working day and night for 5 years on Tomb Raider, and they were just like, no, enough. Story has it that the the lead producer of the game didn't know about the ending until part of the way through production of the game, until they showed him a clip of the end, and he lost his shit.
Well,
yes. We have a question from Jenny Millwood.
Oh, hi Jenny.
Who says, "My question for Alf would be, how did you feel about the change in Lara's character compared to the previous 3 games, going from flat arc, Saturday matinee, one-shot adventures, to Tomb Raider 4's decision to make Lara deal with the consequences of her actions? Did it change your perception or expectations of Lara Croft's classic era characterization?"
I think improve my expectations. So my request for the games, but it's not fault of the games, because I feel that, again, they were leading in also when it comes to story and storytelling at the time, would be a little bit more, because I think there is so much fun potential, and I think in Last Revelation that potential is being finally scratched.
Yes.
I feel that the funny quips are brilliant. This is why people love her, but also you want to bring a little bit of flesh on those bones. And I feel that the characterization with the fact that she's telling Warren Croy, "No, don't do that. That is we shouldn't be doing this," and then it's immediately cuts to her doing exactly that, and it couldn't you could have somebody pointing the camera at Von Croy like in The Office, just staring, and it would have been perfect.
Curb Your Enthusiasm plays in the background.
Go to the wall and pull the lever.
What was it you said? Disrespect is the route to carelessness? On your head be it, Von Croy.
But it's literally, I feel that that is actually good characterization, is somebody that has been having a lot of adventure, and yes, saving the planet, but mostly she's been doing it for fun, and she's quite forgotten that she can become responsible for doing bad things. Most of, if we assume that they are set chronologically, she has been good at stopping evil, but not because she's on a mission to stop evil, just because she is the right woman at the right time with great aims, with great aim and shotguns. But it's never been, oh, I fucked it up. It's always been, somebody was trying to manipulate me. I actually worked that out before, and then I felt that I needed to do something about it, just because I knew that they were bad. While this sounds like, oh, I made a boo-boo, yes, I need to fix this. So good.
The next question comes from John Wilson, who asks about the training section of the game. In previous games, we had the mansion, but did you prefer the refreshing but controlled approach with 𝗯𝗀𝗀𝗍 instructing Lara?
I'm not sure. I do like the mansion. I think the mansion was really fun, but I will tell you this, the beginning felt like an extremely modern game, and again, as much as I can remember a game of that era, I cannot think of a game that is just like it's learning the controllers as you actually played the story. If it's not the first one, it's among the first.
Yeah, they must have. They absolutely must have been others.
It just felt, again, it just felt, considering, oh, this was 25 years ago, so fresh.
Next question from Leopard Prince, who asks, do you prefer the game having a variety of locations, as in everything that came before it, but what do you think of this game only having one kind of setting, aside from Cambodia?
I think it was an interesting stylistical choice. There is a variety of environment in this one too, but I think it made sense to have this kind, to have one location for this story. I feel that it's fun to have multiple locations, but it worked. It didn't feel like, oh, we only want, like, we have the sort of scenarios and it just, or the wallpapers around, and they just repeat and repeat and repeat. Every single level felt different. Sure, there were similarities, but it felt expansive. It felt like a real big place.
Emiliano Canton asks, puzzle-wise, which was your best and worst in this game?
Puzzle-wise, okay, I think my best was probably the Lost Library. I absolutely adored the Lost Library.
Was there a specific one within the library that you really liked?
It's gonna be the planets.
The planets,
yeah.
Shifting them around into the correct
Shifting
orbits.
them around, the fire, with the snakes.
That was a great one.
That was a great one. That also.
I'm looking forward to trying that in the remaster, just to see if I can get it.
Without help?
Without help.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Yes, worse, I would say, was the one, was it Under the Sphinx? The one with the two bulls and the 4 color lights?
Yes, Underneath the Sphinx.
I feel that without...
I think you really enjoyed that level.
I enjoyed that level, and it was an interesting... and it was the one with the underwater maze that I liked, but I said that it would be the worst because without Stella's help, I would have been stuck there immediately, because it was not clear at all. Oh, you need to press the 3 symbols in a specific order. There was nothing. We had a little
translation,
which did not help, because there was no like it was not written anywhere else. Literally, it did not make sense.
Again, there are parts that would have benefit from a little bit of exposition from Lara just saying things. Not all the time.
Yeah,
not constantly going for it, just the occasional.
Yeah, but that one is the fact like you have that that is a sort of translator and everything, but what is it translating? And this is why I feel that was the worst puzzle, despite me enjoying.
That's
and
right.
Honorable mention to the game of 𝗀𝗳𝗳𝗿𝗍𝗂 and dildos.
God, I forgot you called it that.
Yes.
Terrible. Butt plugs. You called it
𝗀𝗳𝗳𝗿𝗍𝗂 and butt plugs.
Moving swiftly on.
All right. This would be a lightning round if
it would be
Chris...
if I could read. No, but unfortunately, this person's username is too long and it cuts off on my phone. But I believe I'm just going to call them Geeks, Freaks, Outcasts. Asks, Alfredo, how do you feel about the game's conclusion?
I knew about the conclusion from listening to Raidercast, and it has been a topic of many conversation. And it became obvious when we had a bit of discussion about the behind-the-scene drama. In a way, I feel it's a bit of a anticlimactic. I feel that most, like, the game is so good, but its ending, it's very meh. I know, I am taking a stance here.
Are you sure?
Yes, I feel that, so, the final, there is no final boss fight.
It's a final boss puzzle.
It's a final boss puzzle masquerading as a fight, again, with no suggestion of, we really need to trap it. Like, no, that's all right.
Woohoo!
And the other thing is like, you're running away, but you cannot escape because the developer don't want you to escape. And I like that there is this argument, is Lara hesitating to grab 𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗍𝗀 because does she think that is still evil or not, or what? But Lara's a survivor. She would have grabbed that hand, and if it was evil,
she would have swung him back round.
Yeah, she would have round kicked him back in, or just shoot him in the face. So it feels very much like this is why I say meh, because it's not in the right characterization.
Breward Boy Games asks, now that you've played all 4 main titles, what's your favourite and least favourite level from each game? Because we've got so many questions to get through, let's just do this game.
And also, you can go and rewatch the other Q&As from the previous games for the answer to the first 3. But this game, Lost Library, my favorite. But again, there's so many good puzzle levels that there's like 20 honorable mentions. I would say my least favorite, then if I need to properly pick, is between the fight with Seth and Trenches.
Okay.
Mostly because of not getting, not like
Clue. Let's come up on Papa's lap. Come on, up.
I feel that with that with
it's not for you.
Not for you. I feel that with Trenches, there was a lot of like trying to work out exactly what I needed to do that made me really confused.
Yeah.
But even the yes, actually no. One honorable mention was the amusement park level, because that was truly the amusement park of death. And again, something that would be really, really funny would be in a remake saying, oh yes, this was closed down because there was a little incident, and then you realize it's full of death traps, and I would actually amp the amount of death traps and make it truly in a way slapstick when it comes to it. Okay, this was not quick. Sorry, it's not really lightning round.
Right.
Okay. No newbies. Okay, and go back into bed.
Out of the first 4 Tomb Raider games, which vehicle is your favourite? Now that we also have the motorbike and the Jeep.
Probably still the snowmobile.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair.
I struggle with it, but really liked. I enjoyed the motorbike. It was fun. But snowmobile.
Question from Majki, who asks, among other questions, what do you think will happen in the next parts of the game?
Oh, I know what happens. You see, I would like to be surprised, but especially between everyone excitement for Jenny's book when I was at Derby a few years back, and I think there was an episode all that you did early in Raidercast dedicated to Chronicles. It was early and before, definitely before we started playing this. Because
And it
since
talks about
then,
the end, or?
I don't know the end of Chronicles, but I know how it is set up.
Okay.
And how it works, and I know enough. I probably know more about the beginning of Angel of Darkness, and I sort of know where we're going in terms of location. Not sure what it happens. So I'm very much looking forward to both of them.
Here's a question from me. How much in terms of location do you know about Chronicles?
I think because it was definitely all in the episode. One is somewhere in Ireland, an island in Ireland. Then I don't remember, but it was.
Good.
I think it was possibly was with Claire about spooky stuff.
Yeah, that was.
So,
Reaction Zero mentions about how we relied on Stella for a lot.
thank you, Stella.
You have mentioned about the puzzle beneath the Sphinx, but what puzzles does Alfredo think were so cryptic that you wouldn't have figured out without Stella? Is that one?
It is that one. I think probably, as I said, I would have struggled with again the fighting, the Minotaur. Mostly not the fighting; it's the fact that I would be fighting. I would not consider. Oh, I need to get out of here.
I remember when you first tackled that level, you emptied so much ammo into it.
Yeah, and
sat there like, do I tell you? I don't want to.
and this thing, and the same with the last fight with Seth. There is some certain expectation based on the previous 3 games, but in terms of puzzle, every other puzzle have been I don't feel that there's been any obvious hints, and I'm not being like. Oh, look here! This is how you solve this. Yeah. Welcome, travelers. Welcome, but that one was just confusing because you have
just that sheet of paper.
A sheet of paper that doesn't help you at all and doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why you would think to press those in alphabetical order in English. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, the writing channel. The big question: did Chris make you enough tea? Yes.
No, otherwise you would have gotten more.
I made you tea at least twice.
At least twice. Wow, I've been spoiled.
Michael Lennon asks, do you have more confidence in your playthrough with this game than you did for the first 3?
I think so, but not consciously. I feel that even in the next game, I will be going to the edge and prepare before I jump. But there are a lot of things that after a while become second nature, so I don't think about it anymore. But for example, instead, I think there was a challenge. This game was the ropes, because you need to be so precisely aligned. That on that I didn't have any confidence. But I think I jumped more carelessly, just knowing that okay, it's alright if I die, etc.
Potkanka has asked a lot of questions. I'm going to pick one that I think we haven't talked about tonight. Which new mechanic introduced in Tomb Raider 4 was your favourite? And what other completely new mechanics would you consider a good addition for future games? I think from Tomb Raider 4.
What new mechanic do we have? We had sprint and monkey bars in the previous one.
We had ropes. We had shimmying around corners. We had the ability to combine items to create new ones.
Oh,
then we had different types of ammo.
No, definitely the combine. The combine and the visor, that was cleverly done. Ropes, the worst, because it was. I feel that there is. When you're introducing new mechanics to challenge the player, you cannot just make it so difficult. And based on everyone's reaction to ropes, I feel that everyone's been traumatized by them.
Paradox in a Box asks, do you have a favourite voice actor for Lara? Does one stand out for you in particular as the embodiment of the character?
Not yet. Like, everyone brings something very interesting, and I've enjoyed all of them. Sorry, it's a bit of a cop-out answer.
Fair enough. You haven't experienced everyone yet,
yeah.
So there we go. Enid asks, what did you think of Werner von Croy? Would you drink a coffee with him at a bar or decline the offer?
I feel they would poison me. I think it's an interesting character. I know that we're gonna see him again in the next two. So I'm hoping that it's fleshed out a little bit more, and so that we can feel if I'm right or wrong. I think there is some potential there.
Penguins fan asks, what has been your least favourite level from any Tomb Raider game? Has anything beaten?
Oh, come on. The answer is one and only one, 40 Fathoms. That is the worst level.
Lauren Docs asks, what was your favourite section of the game? Valley of the Kings, Karnak, Alexandria, Cairo, or the Pyramids? And which was your least favourite?
Oh, very, very good question. My favorite, based on how it was structured, it's gonna be Karnak. I think it's the way it was all connected and how much the connection mattered really shined through in that section. Every section had the connections, obviously, but you could easily chop off the other parts and make them stand alone. And I feel that the way that you were going through the temples and the Sacred Lake, it really needed it to be a single, really interconnected. Like the way that I'm thinking, if you had Alexandria just being one part after the other, it wouldn't have been massively different. Same with the pyramids, same with Giza, same with Cairo. There would be the same. And I would say Cairo was probably my least favorite, simply because there was...
I really can't stand Cairo.
It's just like...
I just found it dull.
Yeah, there is... we had such amazing puzzle, and yes, you need to have this challenge, but most of the challenge is just like you're not. I feel that Kyber to be done well, it would be like, oh yes, you have this monster, and you need to find a way to defeat the monster, and you have your captain friend that is gonna help you, and so give you something to do, and it's like. Actually, for something, I am not a fan of stealth, as you have heard me say many times, but in a modern remake, I would make then this like, this level is filled with enemies. And instead of being like, oh,
Turn it into a battleground.
This is a massive puzzle. This is gonna be a level in which you are really struggling because you lack ammos. And you need to be clever about it.
Federico Mutsu from Bologna says, thank you, this has been very cute. And asks, since The Last Revelation is so peculiar, were there any moments in terms of gameplay or location that really surprised you compared to 1, 2, and 3? While you're thinking about it, I can tell you mine. Obviously, the Temple of Horus beneath the Great Pyramid, but the start of Pharaoh's Temple Isis, as you've just come from like the ruined Library of Alexandria, lighthouse, through some underwater caves, and then you appear in this colossal cavern with a temple rising up underwater, I think is just one of the coolest starts of a level in any Tomb Raider game.
That was very much like, oh, I did not expect that. The Great Pyramid, you would expect that there's something underneath. You're getting the conclusion there. Yeah, I think, I agree with you.
Dai Paran asks, what has been your most favourite change and least favourite change in terms of a new element or enemy or something in the game?
My favorite change is probably the interconnectedness of the levels. I wasn't a fan of them at the beginning, but I really grew to love them. And my least favorite is immortal enemies.
Okay, cool. Jackie, Gecko Kid the Paladin asks, do you prefer holes or poles?
And I say to you, Jackie, why choose? You are so focused on the pole, you need to give your holes the right amount of attention.
Tepnark says that Stella has been like a friend to many of us in the Tomb Raider community for many years. Any chance we will see a Raidacast or a Husband Plays episode featuring Stella in the future? I think that's quite a nice idea.
Yeah, Stella, if you want to come, you're always welcome. Chris will make the tea, and it can be off camera because it will be way more helpful getting all the...
You can get it straight from Stella.
Yeah, straight from Stella without the embellishments and the need for husband points.
Wow.
Yes, Stella, you would be... Well, if there is a level that you are particularly fond in the next two, or one that you think that is quite difficult, and so you can be like, I'm here and I'm giving hints or not. That could be fun.
I like that. Josh Toole says that so many of us grew up with the classic games because a friend or someone in the family introduced us to them. You're having that experience as an adult, which is amazing, but I'm curious if you think you'd have taken to these games as a child, if the opportunity presented itself, or did it, and you didn't like them? I'm always very interested to know about the things that people enjoy about Tomb Raider, and I'm curious to know if a younger Alfredo would have found them interesting.
I would have found them interesting if I had been sold it as what it is, which is a big puzzle. Because I love puzzle games, but my friend was playing it, and I played, I think, some bits in of Tomb Raider 1 in just before the dinosaurs. And it was just like, oh yeah, it's just a fun game, you just get to shoot people and animals. And I was like, That's all right. You climb a lot. She make funny noises. That's... It didn't click for me. But if he actually had played more and it told me, oh, it's really interesting, you're getting artifacts, you're solving puzzle, you need to be very clever about it. I would have played them all already many years ago.
We have actually reached the end of the questions. I have tried my best to go through all of the questions. I know lots of you sent in many questions, and I have tried to just do the ones that I hadn't already asked. So if I missed you out, it wasn't personal, it's just that we'd already answered it. But I am going to ask you one final question. This is a celebration of 25 years of The Last Revelation. What do you think the legacy of this game is? Why do you think it is so celebrated and loved by many? Your husband included.
I know. Multiple reasons. I think that when it came out was a technical marvel. It was really well done. 25 years on is still challenging, is still interesting, is still telling a fantastic Lara Croft story. And also the ending, for as much as I said that I think it's meh, but not in the context of everything else, because the ending is meh in itself. So if you are creating a video game, even if you wanted to have a conclusion, that was a bad conclusion for such an iconic character. But knowing Angel of Darkness, you have putting Lara Croft on the same pedestal as Sherlock Holmes. You have those iconic character deaths because the author didn't want to deal with this character anymore. It's sort of like, oh, we'll just kill them off. And then you go back to it. And the character becomes even more iconic. And this thing, you need to do it well, because it needs to be satisfying. So I'm not sure how much. I know that there is stuff about extended level that maybe give more explanation and everything. And I know that there is lots of complication when it comes to Angel of Darkness. But the fact that this, I feel, for all of you becomes so iconic, it's because it is iconic in the wider realm of storytelling with what comes next. Because if they had decided to stop after 4, I feel a lot of people are like, but what, I could. But now it is different, but only with 5 and 6, which I'm supposed to know nothing about, and so I had to play the devil's advocate. I think, for as much as I feel that Tomb Raider 2 is slightly my favorite, but it's very, like Last Revelation is
What is your new order of favorites?
2, 4, 1, 3.
3 is still your least.
3 is, well, it's not like... I'm sorry, they haven't written a story. This thing is the fact that 3 has so much potential, which is quite like... and again, some other character choices. She's smart, anyway. And I think Last Revelation, I think in a way, 2, I am passionate about 2 because despite 40 Fathoms, everything was well taught. This one also is well taught, but I think it fails on the ending. If she had a more heroic ending, again, you could have done it just the same, but a little bit more her at the end. I think this would win. So
fair. Again,
so no hate mail. And if you said hate mail because you you started writing it middle of this video. Send an apology.
Delete the comment.
No.
Again, congratulations on finishing the longest Tomb Raider game.
Thank you, and thank you for the support.
Thank you for watching Alfredo's Journey.
Thank you.
Join us later next year as we will be tackling Chronicles. Anything you want to say in the meantime?
Just continue to be amazing. Continue to do a lot of wonderful things with the community, and really enjoy the remasters when they come out soon.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.